Hello, I'm Thomas Grillo. Welcome to my fifth installment of the Theremin lesson series. Expressive dynamics, vibrato, and articulation. These are interesting methods of controlling a theremin. Like playing a violin or any other kind of instrument for that matter, it's one thing to get the notes right and maybe even have the right dynamics volume-wise, but you can add a lot more to a piece just by adding expressive dynamics, expressive vibrato, and expressive articulation. How we get from note to note makes all the difference in the world on a theremin. And I'll just give you a little demonstration. Now that sounded okay, but if we want to play something that has a little more feeling, we can articulate just simply by sliding up to or down to different notes and really just totally change the whole landscape of music. And of course, we can add yet more dimension to that by adding a little bit more expressive vibrato, varying the speed of the vibrato, or even just starting a note smoothly and then adding vibrato in along with the expressive articulation. And of course, expressive dynamics helps too. Now, another area of control that I'm going to talk about is vibrato. We've covered dynamic, expressive vibrato, but now I'm going to cover two types of vibrato that you can do with the theremin, depending on where your hand is, what path you take to the antenna. If you want a nice smooth vibrato that sounds like a violin, particularly if you're using my method of moving along a path that starts from the center of your mast to the antenna, you want a vertical vibrato. Not too much though. And the reason why you want kind of a vertical vibrato, or more specifically like you're throwing something out at the audience, is you're transferring the energy of your vibrato to a parallel path that runs parallel to the magnetic field lines, like this. With a little arrow, I don't know if you can even see that, but you want to be parallel with the magnetic field when you do vibrato. If you use a horizontal vibrato on the vector that I take to the antenna, the path that I take, you'll end up overshooting. Well, I over-exaggerated that a bit, but... However, if, on the other hand, your path is a little bit different, say you're more approaching the antenna directly, kind of like the way someone would play a pitch-only theremin, which I'll cover in a bit, or a B3, you probably want to use more of a horizontal, a horizontal vibrato. But I have my own method that I play with, being that I travel from here to the pitch antenna, and so if I try to use that horizontal vibrato, I tend to overshoot my vibratos quite a bit. So I just use the dart throw method for vibrato. Someone once asked me about how you play a metronomen or a pitch-only theremin, and really they're quite straightforward. Any theremin can become a pitch-only theremin pretty much. Most pitch-only theremins usually only have about three to four, maybe 5 octaves. I think the metronomens have about 5 octaves. But basically, to play a pitch-only theremin where you don't have access to the volume antenna, you basically just gliss up to your starting note. And you articulate. You have to articulate with very crisp aerial fingering movements. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of gliss in between the notes. And of course you have to gliss out in order to stop a note. In order to play rest, or where you have some dynamics in between a couple of notes on a pitch-only theremin, the way you get around that, since you can't lower your hand like you would on a volume-equipped theremin like this, if you're in a passage that has just a very short break in between a couple of notes, you can get around that with a pitch-only theremin just by just a slight dip of your hand, of your pitch hand, just, well, I call it a dip. It's just a slight movement down in pitch and then back up immediately, and it just creates the illusion that you've put a break in between a couple of notes. Very interesting little instrument, the pitch-only theremins. They're very hard to play because you don't have access to the volume loop, but they're a great way to get used to articulation, and I kind of wish I had started out on a pitch-only theremin just so that I could have gotten used to proper articulation from the very beginning. Well, I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing what you have to offer someday. I hope to see you in concert. Thank you, and have a good day.